thyrotoxin at all. I didn't have any chemotherapy. I had vitamin C, glutathione, and a little bit of EDTA in there for the heavy metals that we found in the urinalysis with the Chinese doctor. I mean, he did with battery. I had an antimicrobial for all the microbes and everything in my blood. 2 weeks later, I took it. Well, nothing was in my plasma. My white blood cell count never got over 4. It was always 3.8, 2.7. The last time I had it this spring, when I go ahead and get my blood taken myself, and that's another thing I can tell you about. I can get my blood taken without a doctor's orders. I don't have a primary doctor. It's me. So I proceeded for 6 months, had 3 PET CT slice scans, a 16 slice thing when I went under that. 3 of those. In every 3 months I had one to see where it was getting smaller. I think it was getting smaller, smaller, smaller. Now, I still have one in the left groin. That's where all the viruses that the Epstein-Barr virus, the major one, hides. The herpes hides there, which is a cousin to the Epstein-Barr. All of those hide in your groin lymph nodes. And I know that's why that's there still. I just can't get beyond it because sometimes I am not as vigilant as I am to juice every day in the morning, noon, and night. You know, here's something that happened. My youngest daughter, worked for Meals on Wheels in Florida, in one of the counties. And she was concerned about what to do. And she had talked with this 90-year-old lady that would come in every day, and so she was saying, what do you attribute your longevity to, and so forth and so on. And she says, well, yada, yada, yada. And she says, and I was diagnosed, just off the wall, she said to my daughter, I was diagnosed with non-hodgkins lymphoma 40 years ago, or not 40, maybe 20 years ago, and here she is 90. 20 years ago. And my daughter said, oh my goodness, what did you do? And she said, I never took chemotherapy or radiation. What those doctors, you know, little old 90, spry little old lady. She said, Mom, you reminded me of you. I said, oh, well, what'd she say? She said she was told to go to the health food store and take IP6 inositol. And that is something that your cells lose as you get older, and it's put back in. Same as glutathione is an immune thing. And the inositol and the IP6 put together, and so I've been on that every day. So I went to the health food store. I says, you know what I need? I need a massage therapist. And they gave me the name of a holistic massage therapist that does a lot of hands-on healing, the therapeutically healing without touching, and can, you know, and very intuitive, and draws in all of the guardian angels around, and does some crystal work. And I thought, well, that's just different. I hadn't really thought about all of this, you know. And okay, well, I'll learn all about that and see where that's coming from. Then I learned all about the vibration we have from the Tao and how the Tao works. And then I read about Ayurvedic and how that comes into the mix. And okay, let's go for it. God created it. By golly, I don't care. God's at the helm. If He created it, I'm using it. Well, a lot of my Orthodox Christian friends thought I was not doing what I should be doing, like praying just to God and asking Him once for the healing and just sit back and relax. And I said, I don't sit back and relax. God says, get up off your booty and do something. I'll help you. So therein lies my thought processes. I never owned what I was diagnosed. When I would say I was diagnosed with this, I never said I have it. There's a church over here in this big old house now that my mom and dad had rented to them and refurbished and everything, because that's the house I grew up in, built in 1840. So there's probably all kinds of strange little entities in there from a long time ago. But anyway, I would go over and I would think about it. My grandfather was a minister, so it's not I was not aware of the spiritual that you had, the spirit you have in you. I was just taken for granted, but then I called on him, and he just worked on me. God's impeccable timing, it takes me where I'm going. I listen and I make choices, but he puts those choices in front of me. And so I've chosen to follow that lead. And it just so happens that whatever I think about and focus on will be. You feel it in your solar plexus, and I've always felt something in my solar plexus. That if it was something, it was okay, and okay, I'll do it later, you know, whatever it is. And then I would feel that rubber band pulling, and I would say, well, get out to here. It's time to do it. It's time to do whatever it is that I was thinking about, and before it snaps. So I would let it go, and I would go do whatever it was. Whatever it was. I mean, I have an intuitive instinct that I always thought that I would never discuss things with people regarding what I was going to do. I would just go out and do it, and it worked out okay. And everybody said I was flighty, flaky, you don't make plans, you know, and I said, God's leading me. I prayed to him once to heal me, and I'll help you heal me. Because it's through my mouth that my spirit's talking to him. And I told the congregation over here, in the congregation where I would visit and go when I was here and back and forth and so forth, that I don't want you to sit and pray for me to get well if it be thy will. I don't want that anywhere in any of your prayers. Don't say, in Jesus' name, if it be thy will. You can say in Jesus' name. I have no problem with that. But I'm going to tell you how to pray for me. Kind of funny. This is after the church services and everything, not during church. But after, and a crowd was gathered. Oh, well, we're praying for you. And if it be God's will. And I'm not mocking. I'm just saying my whole spiritual being is not, doesn't have blinders on. And so I said, this is what I want you to do. God is healing Betty Scott's, and Betty Scott's like Susie J, Billy's Joe, you know, that's my middle name is Scott. Betty Scott God is healing Betty Scott's system nanosecond by nanosecond. And be very positive about it. Don't ask for it. I've already asked for the healing. All I want you to do is verify. And be very positive in it. You can ask for my healing nanosecond by nanosecond. I don't, you know, have God, you know, heal, is healing Betty Scott nanosecond by nanosecond. I've always sort of left the tribe. That was always in me. So evidently, I was saying in my other life, I was probably some kind of Joan of Arc or somebody. When you're up against that brick wall, and you know in your heart that drugs being put into your system when you're not supposed to really have drugs, and it's a synthetic thing, and your system can't assimilate it anyway, and you get to that point and you're up against the brick wall, then you will do anything, I would, do anything that is off the wall. Had a colon cleanse at Dr. Lee's, the Chinese doctor in Florida. Did a colon cleanse. I did that, and I was okay, and it started clearing up. Plus, I was getting rid of all the stuff in there that had been accumulating, that the viruses that I was holding on to, and what I was eating. And again, we'll get to the eating in a minute. Then I said I wanted to find a nutrition doctor. Well, Florida doesn't license nutrition doctors.